Fans are pissed that Barbie was apparently snubbed at the Oscars. We're going to talk about that today and a lot more here on Speechless. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Speechless. I'm your host that you may know. If you're new to the channel, I'll introduce myself. I am a 23-year-old conservative activist, got my start in college, now a graduate, radio host as well of the show Speechless that I've now turned into a YouTube and content platform, period. And thank you guys so much for joining me today. To make sure you guys don't miss a minute of any of this, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, comment what you think, share it with your friends, all that fun stuff. I'd really appreciate it. I'll get to some comments soon, but I want to start off with the title story. So let's start off here with Barbie. Barbie, it's the movie that captivated the world, especially last summer. It competed with the cinematic masterpiece Oppenheimer, and I realized this movie that was hailed as a feminist perfection, I never even talked about it on this show directly once, which seems like a surprise for me. And to be honest, I didn't even watch it for quite a while. I waited until probably about mid-October when it came out over the summer. And so I figured now is a better time than ever to discuss this movie. But what a better way to discuss it than by talking about its current controversy. Fans of Barbie are outraged that the movie was, quote, snubbed. And why do I put it in quotes? I'll talk about that. But it was snubbed in this year's Oscar nominations. Out of the Associated Press, Barbie was one of the biggest hits of 2023, the highest grossing movie ever directed by a woman, and a bona fide cultural sensation that turned movie theaters pink and left a still going trail of think pieces in the wake of Greta Gerwig's feminist Fantasia. But while Barbie received 8 Academy Awards, again, 8 Academy Award nominations on Tuesday, including Best Picture, it was easily bested by its unlikely double feature partner at the box office, Oppenheimer. And when the Academy Awards passed over Gerwig for Best Director and Margot Robbie for Best Actress, many saw some of the same patriarchy parodied in Barbie at work. Seriously, people are unhappy that Barbie didn't receive enough Academy Award nominations. People claim that it was snubbed and that it deserved as many, if not more, than Oppenheimer. Now, if you've never seen the movie Barbie, you might not understand why this is comical. But if you've never seen the movie Barbie, you probably yourself already find it comical. Why is this? Well, Barbie itself is not a particularly deep movie. It's relatively shallow. And I'll do a full review at some point during this, but I want to be clear. Oppenheimer is a long, drawn, thought out movie about one of the most influential turning points in not only American, but world history, in the idea of war and man versus man, fighting, conflict. As Barbie is a honestly more overcomplicated analysis of a children's toy. That's really what it is. But even Hillary Clinton had something to say, and I thought this was really funny. So everybody, let's take a look real quick. It was just in a post to Instagram and a few other social medias. Let's take a look at what Hillary Clinton actually had to say here. She says, Greta and Margot. I'll make it a little bit bigger for everybody. I don't know if it'll show up for you all like this. Here we go. Greta and Margot. While it can sting to win the box office but not take home the gold, your millions of fans love you. You're both so much more than enough. Hashtag Hillary Barbie. This is what Hillary Clinton had to say in response to people saying that that Margot got snubbed and Greta Gerwig. Well, here's the thing is it's really ironic and funny because Hillary Clinton is obviously still butthurt about 2016. And that's what this is really saying is Hillary Clinton is saying, while it can sting to win the box office, but not take home the gold, kind of like, while it can sting to win the polls, but not win the presidency, the millions of people that still voted for you loved you. This is just her projecting onto a current state of affairs of something that happened almost a decade ago. Notable and funny, I must say, but not really the most important part of this story. Feminists overall are outraged that Ryan Gosling got a nomination for his portrayal of Ken, but Margot Robbie did not get nominated for Barbie. Now, there's a lot to break down with this. But let's first discuss everything Barbie was nominated for. Everything Barbie, the movie, was nominated for. Barbie the movie was nominated for Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Original Song, Best Costume Design, Best Production Design, Best Supporting Actor, and Best Supporting Actress. And yet you'll still have people go all over social media and say that this movie was snubbed. I'm sorry, but 8 nominations? If anything, that's more than it deserved. Barbie did not get snubbed. But secondly, how is it that feminists can get mad that Margot Robbie didn't get a nomination, but Ryan Gosling did? That's their comparison. If you look across social media, that's the comparison they're making. They're saying, this is the patriarchy that Ryan Gosling gets nominated for Best Supporting Actor, but Margot Robbie doesn't get a nomination. Gosling, like I said, was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, while Margot Robbie was competing for Best Actress. Not even supporting actress, Best Actress. 2 different categories. 2 different genders, which it's ironic to me that Hollywood is still recognizing that you have actors and actresses, and they're not going all in on saying that you have to be one or that you can be somewhere in the middle. Yeah, where's the Best Supporting Non-Binary Person award? I don't know. Guess Hollywood isn't as woke yet. We'll see, maybe next year. But Margot Robbie was competing against other women entirely. She didn't lose to Gosling, as the feminazis would have you believe. She lost to other women in the nomination process. So by no means is this a representation of sexism, as the lefties would have you believe. No, she simply didn't win. She simply didn't win. But that didn't stop Ryan Gosling from self-casting himself to the role of male feminist hero. Out of the Daily Mail, Gosling went as far as issuing an extraordinary statement criticizing the Academy for not nominating the pair. In this statement, he said, he ceremoniously wrote, "There is no Ken without Barbie, and there is no Barbie movie without Greta Gerwig and Margot Robbie. The 2 people most responsible for this history-making, globally celebrated film." He continued, "No recognition would be possible for anyone on the film without their talent, grit, and genius. To say that I'm disappointed that they are not nominated in their respective categories would be an understatement. Their work was not recognized," is what he says. He says their work should be recognized along with the other very deserving nominees. The problem with this is, so he says, their work should be recognized. Their work was recognized. And look, I liked Ken in this movie. I thought he was funny. I thought he did a good job portraying him. But the fact of the matter is, Ryan, their work was recognized. Maybe not in the form of an Oscar nomination, but this movie grossed over $1.4 billion worldwide and currently sits at number 14. Number 14. In highest grossing movies of all time. It was recognized. Their genius, their grit, whatever you want to say, they were recognized by the millions and millions of people that went out and paid probably more money than it deserved to watch this movie. The problem is that this movie was recognized as being popular, but now people are trying to equate the ideas of popularity and quality, a thing that really isn't equal. Also out of the Daily Mail, a Texas congressman has waded in on the Barbie Oscars fiasco, accusing the Academy Awards of sexism after Greta Gerwig was not nominated for Best Director. Democrat, of course. Joaquin Castro, 49, is the latest to get involved in the bizarre outrage after the Oscar nominations were announced. Barbie, the hit movie of 2023, was directed by Greta Gerwig, but she was not selected to be in the running for the Best Director award. Castro took to his professional X account to write. Again, that's important. Professional X. That means he took to his congressional account and not a personal account to write, quote, Hollywood still has a big problem with women. In 2022, women made up 11% of directors. So in 2023, Greta Gerwig, one, directs Barbie, the year's highest grossing film at 1.4 billion. Two, provides coattails to Oppenheimer, 1 billion. And three, saves Warner Brothers' disastrous year. How do you end up directing the biggest hit of the year, a cultural phenomenon, and not get an Oscar nomination for Best Director? Be a female director in Hollywood, apparently. Oh, so to Joaquin, it's all sexism, sexism, sexism. Well, thank God for this white knight riding in and telling us all that Hollywood is apparently not woke enough. Are you kidding me? Hollywood. That's basically what he's saying here. Hollywood is not woke enough, everybody. Hollywood, the place that shoves LGBTQ propaganda down your throat at every possible chance. Hollywood, that replaces the Ghostbusters with all women to try to push a feminist agenda and then flops. Hollywood, Los Angeles, the place where you can be pretty much any gender and you have a privilege and straight people bow down to you. Hollywood isn't woke enough, everybody. That's what this Democrat is saying. And so now, building off that a little bit is my analysis of this whole situation and my review of Barbie. As I said, Barbie was able to prove that it was popular, but popularity doesn't always equate to quality. Barbie is essentially the Avengers for women. By and large. Not every guy likes the Avengers and not every woman likes Barbie, but by and large, it was the Avengers for women. It was a relatively shallow story, but had an entertaining plot that caters to its target base and requires very little thought. It's worth a watch once and gives brief excitement here and there. An occasional laugh. I will say it does deserve, much like the Avengers might deserve awards for graphics or something like that, Barbie might deserve nominations for set design and costume design. And maybe Best Original Song. Maybe. I'm Just Ken was pretty catchy. But other than that, the acting was stale. The actors and actresses performed exactly as you would expect. They overacted and acted dumb because that's what Barbies and Ken essentially are. Caricatures. And that's what the actors did. They delivered their lines. There was nothing notable, dramatic, or particularly difficult about their performances. They didn't go through a crap ton of preparation. They didn't have to learn a significant level of history and understand the complexities of geopolitical warfare like Oppenheimer. No. As a film itself, Barbie is relatively forgettable. If you take it as for just the film, not everything that surrounded it, not all that it made. As a film itself, it's relatively forgettable. Its noteworthy cast, incredible marketing department, and riding off brand recognition made it into the box office smash that it was. If any award is deserved of this movie, it is for the marketing team that made a stupid, shallow comedy that is worth a watch about an iconic doll into a billion-dollar movie and onto the list of top 20 films that of highest grossing. That's who deserves the award, is the marketing department. But as I said earlier, popularity does not equate to quality itself. To believe otherwise is known as the bandwagon logical fallacy. Vincent van Gogh died penniless and unpopular. But now his artwork is considered some of the best of all time. Meanwhile, in 2024, a banana that is duct taped to a white canvas sells for $120,000. Just because a lot of people like something or a lot of people don't like something doesn't determine its quality. Something that people might not notice, a video on YouTube that might only have 50 views, doesn't mean that that video is bad. It could. But it could also just mean that it doesn't fit within the algorithm for a lot of people to see it. Vincent van Gogh, just as much as a video with millions of views, might not be very good, might not be of high quality. And when it comes to Barbie, that is what these politicians fail to recognize. But honestly, who can blame them? They got elected by a popular vote. And look what they do in Washington. Look what they do in Washington. They got elected by popularity, but would you call them quality? No. What did they do in Washington? They focus on Oscar nominations, Zyn nicotine pouches, and the balance of your Venmo, rather than focusing on the crisis at the border, the impending recession, record high overdoses, World War III, and more. Legislators have a certain level of popularity that's proven by their election that feeds their ego and pushes them to believe that they are good at what they do. But a lot of times they're not. So they apply these same standards to other things. Barbie made a lot of money. A lot of people seem to like it. So it must be a good movie. Wrong. That is logically fallacious. Now, compare Barbie to its counterpart this year, the cinematic masterpiece that is Oppenheimer. If you've seen both movies, you would obviously see a difference in the depth, dramatic acting, and artistic effect that Oppenheimer has and Barbie does not. Now, for another comparison, to conclude, let's look at Sound of Freedom, a movie I did talk about on this show multiple times, and a movie I hope all of you have seen. The Sound of Freedom is a biographical drama that surprised everyone with its success. While an entertaining and informative movie, the other aspects that usually make up a quality Oscar-worthy movie simply weren't really there. Didn't have necessarily phenomenal acting, some decent acting, but not amazing. Its sets were pretty natural or expected, nothing really experimental or out there. It told the story. It did what it set out to do. But it wasn't necessarily an Oscar-winning film. But it had significant impact. Along with that, it was a top 10 grossing movie of 2023 and has a 99% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. It's popular. It was a popular movie. But that doesn't necessarily equate to quality, or at least meeting the criteria of which are expected. Popularity doesn't always equal quality in art or politics. Now, I actually believe that Barbie probably got more nominations than it should have because Hollywood is so woke. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, please. And if you're just tuning in, don't forget to make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Ring that notification bell, hit it to all, comment what you think, share it with your friends, and let's get to some of these comments here.